Good to go.
Okay, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome all of you, and we will call to order this regular meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, May 2 of 2023. We would ask if you have any type of an electronic communication device, if you'd please put it on silent or vibrate. We'd appreciate that courtesy. We always start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'd ask you to remain standing for a moment of silence, please. And Commissioner Burek, would you mind leading us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. Vanessa, would you mind calling the roll, please?
Commissioner Steelvogel? Here. Commissioner Burek? Commissioner Vogler?
Here, we have our quorum. We always have two opportunities for public comment, one in just a few moments, and then we'll open it back up prior to adjournment. We welcome your comments. We would ask that they be related to county government matters. Excuse me, and if you're able to try to maybe limit your time to about 5 minutes, we'd appreciate that courtesy as well. Row officer reports and comments, and we're very honored today. Two of our elected row officers are with us. I know they are here for other matters. Controller David Prestapine is here for a bid opening, and our register and recorder Tammy Crawford is here for a resolution. But aside from that, do either of you have anything for us this morning that you'd care to bring up? Thank you. Again, we appreciate you both being here. I'm going to kind of keep an eye on the clock because Mrs. Crawford has a 10:30 commitment. So I'm sure we'll get to you before 10:30, but I'll make sure that we do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Public comments. Does anybody in the meeting room today have any comments or concerns? Thank you all. Under fiscal and contractual, one of the items on the agenda today is receipt of bids. That's why Controller Prestapine is here. We announced a couple weeks ago, I believe, that we were putting up for sale a 2000 Ford truck and a 1998 Ford Club wagon van. And sealed bids could be sent to the controller's office. They had to be in by 3 o'clock Friday, April 28th, and the bids would be opened at this morning's meeting. So David, if you wouldn't mind, how many bids did we get?
I got 3 total. I believe 2 were for one vehicle and 1's for the other.
And as I always ask, were they received in a timely manner?
Yes, they were.
Thank you. If you wouldn't mind opening them then, please.
First one is for the F-250. It is from Joseph Vanasco. The bid is $480.
You said you were getting a new car.
Different job.
To note for the record, that the individual who did submit this bid is not the gentleman on my left or Loretta's right. It's not this Joseph Vanasco.
The next one, I'm not sure if this is for the truck or the van, but we'll see. This is for the Ford truck from Sean McConaughey, a bid of $526.
How much was the first one?
$480. This one is for the Ford Club wagon, also from Sean McConaughey. The bid is $102.
David, would your office need a week to go over these and consult with any other individuals as far as reviewing the bids that we've received?
I mean, they're fine as far as I can see here, I mean, unless there's something that you guys want to look at.
What would the wish of the
And
board
put it kind of
be?
here, just as the,
So you would have, Would you have any objection if the board chose to vote today on this?
No.
Now, let me ask the board what their thoughts are. Do you need a week to go over it, or are you folks willing to take some action today?
Take the action.
Okay, I'll open the floor then for a motion if someone wishes to make one.
I'll make a motion that both vehicles be sold to the lowest bidder.
Highest.
Oh, highest, I'm sorry, lowest.
We're selling this time.
Highest.
I'm gonna take, you with me, I'm gonna get Chris's car.
That's a,
It's never the highest, oh my goodness,
usually
right?
the lowest.
Wow.
You're right, no, that's an honest.
We're selling, but usually we're buying.
Usually
Yes,
we're fine.
okay.
That's not
You change your
I
motion.
know. I'll make that motion
To the
to sell it
highest.
to the highest bidder.
I second the motion to sell it to the
Thank you.
highest bidder, which is Mr. McConaughey for both vehicles.
Thank you
Yes.
both. Do either of you have any other comments or concerns? And again, Mr. Controller, you're comfortable with this moving forward? Okay, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. I assume, do we, is it our responsibility to notify the gentleman?
Yes, I'm so.
Okay, could we take it from here and let
Absolutely.
him know and make the arrangements for him to
Sure can.
secure those vehicles? All right.
There's a phone number on here.
Oh, wonderful.
Very good.
Yes, oh, yes.
I'm just curious, when the county owns a vehicle, whose name or who signs the title on behalf of the county?
Usually the chair of the board.
Okay.
That's my recollection.
I believe.
Board chair.
So you obviously have the titles of those vehicles, so you'll sign the
Yes.
title and then it can take it, and get it transferred.
Yes. Any other questions? I'm glad you brought that up. It's a good question. Well, thank you, David, as always. Thank you
No problem.
for your time and your help. The next item on the agenda would involve the warrant registers, which the Controller's Office submits to us. And they've been busy because these are dated April 24, 25, 26, and 28 of this year. And for my two colleagues, I'll give you whatever time you need to look them over. And once you've done that, if you wish to make a motion to accept these, we can do so.
I looked them over prior to the meeting and I make a motion that we approve them as submitted.
I'll second that motion, yes.
Thank you both. Do either of you have any questions on the warrant registers? No questions? Thank you. Could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The minutes of the April 25 meeting are in our packet. And I'll again give both Brian and Loretta some time to look them over, and whenever one of you is ready, we can take a motion to adopt the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Are there any other comments or concerns? If not, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We have no written communications to enter into the record today. We move down to commissioner reports and comments. It looks like we go myself and then Loretta and then Brian. I have one thing to note today. It was nice to have the controller here, Mr. Prestipine. Last week, I reached out to David and also consulted with Mr. Vanasco to provide us with an update on the county budget in terms of where we stand at the end of the first quarter, which would have been March 30. That's 25% of the year has gone past. And both gentlemen reported to me that as of the first quarter, expenditures stood at 24.9%. So they were slightly below budget, which is actually a good thing. And the revenue during that time, that first quarter, was 25.6%. Please come in, Mayor Fry. Good morning.
Traffic.
Yeah, we live it every day.
Tis the season.
Tis the
right?
season.
We're glad you're here, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'll repeat those numbers. The revenue, 24.9%, excuse me, strike that. Expenditures, 24.9%.
See how easy it happens
You
there,
bet.
do you see?
I do. Expenditures, 24.9%. Revenue, slightly above budget, 25.6%. Mr. Vanasco actually was looking as of last week, and those numbers still looked good.
Yeah.
We were still slightly below budget on
That's correct.
expenditures and slightly higher on revenue.
Absolutely.
Good. So we're in a comfortable position. So I thank both Joe and Controller Prestifine for that. Loretta?
Okay, I just have one thing to add. It's pertaining to our website. We are still continuing to add the different links to it. Be patient with us. It's the new host that is servicing us. But I wanted to note that if someone is trying to get on and they can't, you no longer need to use the www. You can just go to your search engine, lawrencecountypa.gov, and it will take you to the site. And that will remain permanent like that. That's one of the features of the new host. You don't need the www. And it took me a minute to remember what www stands for. World Wide Web.
Wide Web.
So you don't need it anymore. For our site, for our new site, you don't need to use that. So people may be experiencing issues trying to get on with the www and it doesn't have a site there. So,
We thank you
yeah,
for.
hopefully that. Okay. That's it. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Loretta. Brian?
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to mention, we go to a lot of meetings and functions throughout the given week, but I want to mention three since last Tuesday. Last Thursday, I attended the Lawrence County Career and Technical Center Advisory Committee meeting, and I got to sit and have lunch and talk to several students from Lawrence County Career and Technical Center. And I just want to say I was very impressed with the programs out there. The one student is graduating from the Vet Tech program and is already working with some veterinary clinics in the area. Another student is graduating from the medical assistant program, already has a job lined up at a local doctor's office. And the third student is graduating from the computer and office tech program, and he has a job lined up with UPMC. So I was very impressed with the students I met, and I wish all the seniors from all the schools in Lawrence County well as they graduate and start either their work or post-secondary education and training program. Next, I wanted to mention last Friday, we attended a gathering of the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania District 2 meeting. And I'm pleased to say that our chairman, Mr. Vogler, is chair of that group as well and did a great job as always. And I got to meet many of the commissioners from all of the, I believe, 11 southwestern Pennsylvania counties. And we got updates from Senator Casey and Senator Fetterman's office, as well as a State Senator Patrick Stefano was there as well. And we got an update from the County Commissioners Association staff. So that was a very, very informative meeting. And just wanted to thank my colleagues for going as well. It was a very rainy day to drive down there, but very worthwhile meeting, and thank Dan for coordinating that. And then finally, yesterday, I believe all of us, Register Recorder Crawford and all three commissioners attended the annual Lawrence County Law Day program up in courtroom number 5. And I just wanted to thank the Lawrence County Law Day Essay Contest Committee for putting that program on. And I want to congratulate 2 young women from Wilmington High School won this year's scholarships based on their essays. They both wrote essays on the topic of whether or not an individual state has the right to impose and implement their own immigration rules to limit the number of immigrants entering their states. And this year's winners of the Lawrence County Law Day Essay Contest were Kinsley Shimrack and Annalie Gardner. And I got a chance to meet both of them, and they're both heading off to university this fall. And so just want to congratulate them and wish them well. Those are my comments for today.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Next on our agenda, we're going to move on to new business, and the first item is a proposed resolution. What number would this be, Vanessa?
134.
Number 134. This is a proposal coming from the Office of Register and Recorder, and we're very pleased to have Mrs. Crawford with us Tammy, if you don't mind, so the microphone can pick you up. The issue at hand is a proposal involving the converting of existing records within your office to a more permanent medium. But I'll let you fill us in on what this involves and what action you would like us to take. So please.
Thank you. It's pretty much just a change to our current contract, which all of our records are now converted to PDFA. And so our current vendor, GovOS, they will no longer need to microfilm our documents. They will just provide go forward services, and they'll just export the uploaded PDFA from County Fusion to 2 secure hosted locations. And this service will occur weekly, and the invoice amount will be $3,862 annually. I already budgeted for this amount, and it will be paid for from the records backup line item.
Well, and you have some attachments with your proposal, and I looked them over from where I said everything looks to be in order. I thought it was interesting, it states here that for deeds, there were 3,868,396 images, and for wills, 1,117,133 images. That's a big number, both of those. And appreciate that your office has initiated this. Let me see if Commissioner Burek has any questions for you.
No, I just commend her for being proactive and getting these digitized. Just a side note, when I was previously an administrative officer at the Pennsylvania Department of Vital Records, we had, many people know this, some people may have forgotten, since 1906, the Pennsylvania Department of Health Division of Vital Records has had to maintain birth and death records for anybody born or passes away in the state of Pennsylvania. And right in downtown Newcastle for the last 50 years, we had 15 million documents, paper records of birth and death certificates. And we went through a similar process. We had them all scanned and digitized. And now the staff at Vital Records can search those documents in a moment versus we had a big room on the 4th and 5th floor of the central building downtown Newcastle. And for 50 years, if somebody applied from, way back for an old birth certificate, old death certificates, our staff had to physically go up, find the right book, open it up, carefully remove the brittle paper, and get the information and do the birth and death certificate. Now it can all be pulled up digitally, and I know her office has undergone that same process. So it's a very worthwhile investment. It makes the job easier, and it preserves the records long term. So great job to stay ahead of that.
Yes.
Thank you. Loretta?
Nothing.
Okay.
Very good.
Anything else you have for us on this matter?
That's all.
Well, Tammy, thank you. We can bring it up then for a vote if the board is so willing. I could entertain a motion for proposed resolution 134.
So moved.
Second.
Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you so much. Tammy, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
hopefully you'll get to your meeting
Yes.
on time.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Lawrence County Social Services is with us with Vanessa Lovely. Vanessa, if you would please, have you met Commissioner Burek?
Not officially, so hello, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Nice
Brian.
to meet you.
Vanessa.
Vanessa periodically visits us, and it's usually always good news that she shares with us.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
today you have to discuss with us the Medical Assistance Transportation Program, I believe.
Yes,
So I'll turn it over to you to discuss this. This would be proposed resolution 135.
thank you. The PA Department of Human Services has made available to each county a one-time payment with the purpose of retaining and attracting drivers for the Medical Assistance Transportation Program. Now, driver shortages is something that's a nationwide issue. And I think during COVID too, when you factor in the medical component of medical assistance transportation, attracting drivers and retaining drivers was even more crucial. So Department of Human Services, through funds they received through federal CMS, they did a calculation by looking at each county's trips provided under MATP through the cost per trip structure that Lawrence County Social Services bills the county for each month. And they times that by $2.28 to come up with this value of $164,440.44. So the one-time payment is to be used for very specific reasons. It can be used to, again, attract and retain drivers. So Lawrence County Social Services, as the county's MATP operator, we're asking for your approval to allocate those funds as indicated based on the trips the three providers provided under the MATP program in fiscal year 21-22, which is the same fiscal year in which DHS calculated the total amount. I'm not explaining this as well as I would like.
No, it's making
You're
sense
doing
to
a-
me, so
no.
if I'm getting it,
Very good
everybody
job.
else is getting it.
Well, thank you. So really, I'm here today to ask for your approval on the plan to allocate the funds as stated. Lawrence County Social Services, with your approval, will reach out to the three subcontractors of the MATP, let them know how the money must be used for DHS indications, and then also retrieve from each provider the data tracking sheet that's required to be returned to DHS by the end of the fiscal year, the state fiscal year, June 30th.
And according to the proposed resolution, the three providers are Allied Coordinated Transportation Services, the Newcastle Area Transit Authority, and NOGA Wheelchair Transport Service. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll ask Commissioner Spielvogel if she would have any concerns or questions.
No concerns, no. Always job well done. Very good explanation. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Burek?
No further questions.
Okay, thank you. Well, I could entertain then a motion for proposed resolution 135, please.
I move for its adoption.
I will second.
Thank you both. Any other concerns or questions? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Vanessa, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Yes.
You're very welcome to stay, but if you have things to do, we understand.
Thank you very, very much.
Appreciate your joining us.
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is something we've been doing for a number of years. We have a fund that is established in the county register and recorder's office known as the Affordable Housing Fund. And when deeds and mortgages are recorded, the state law permits a portion of that fee to be set aside for programs in the community, as the name implies, that assist with housing and making housing perhaps more affordable for people. In the past, two agencies have been pretty consistent recipients of dollars from this fund. One we actually acted on earlier in the year. That's the Carpenters Project, which is based in the Elwood City area. They really come to life during the summer months, and they do a lot of rehabilitation in that part of the county for people in need down there. The other organization to whom we have been giving support is what an agency known as the Mission Barn, used to be known as the Eastbrook Mission Barn, because they used to be based out in Hickory Township. And within the last year, they've actually moved their facility out into Shenango Township. So they've shortened their name. They're now simply known as the Mission Barn. And they have an affiliation with the United Methodist Church. Their role in the community is to provide modular access ramps to individuals who need assistance in accessing their homes. Now, earlier in the year, we allocated $15,000 to the Carpenters Project. This proposal would award a similar amount, $15,000, to the Mission Barn. But let me open this up and see if I'll start with Commissioner Burek and see if you have any thoughts.
Just one question out of curiosity. Do we know how much that fee generates each year in that affordable housing fund? Do we have a ballpark idea what kind of revenue that brings in?
I used to know that.
I wanna say around 100, but I might be wrong. It's too bad Tammy's not here.
We'd have to look it up, but at one point I did know that number, but I think Commissioner Vogler's in the ballpark.
Do you have a recollection? I
I
thought
know
it
you
was,
said that there was 90 in there now.
Yes.
So,
I'd say either Dave Prestopine could get you an answer like that, or even Tammy might be able to.
I don't think we've ever depleted it.
No, I don't
in
think
a
we
year.
have either,
So,
because it fills itself up on an
Right.
ongoing
Mhm.
basis.
yes.
Anything else?
Again, just because I wasn't here, this $15,000 amount, this is what they requested, or how did we arrive at that figure?
Well, I think in part to match what we had given to the Carpenters project. I don't have their request letter
They
here.
did
They
request.
did send us a letter of request, so we do have that on file. I don't know if it was an it may have been an open-ended request,
Okay.
but I can find the letter. No, I gave you the newsletter.
I would say I had their newsletter on my desk.
I'll find the letter.
No, I support this. I think it's a good program.
Yeah, and they actually submitted 2 letters. One was for the ramps,
Yes,
and the letter asks they're requesting between 12,000 and 17,000.
okay.
And then the other letter was a request to help with their mortgage payment for their new building.
Oh, and speaking of that, the building is out on US 422 in Shenango Township. They had an open house out there about 3-4 weeks ago. I was able to attend. It's the old Prax Air warehouse facility. If you're pulling in to go down to the villa,
Okay, I know where Prax there is. Yeah.
Right.
and that Prax Air actually had property on closer to 422, and then behind the road that takes you to the villa.
It's a big warehouse back there.
Yes, that's where they're located
Okay.
now.
Okay, thank you.
And I would assume that what we're acting on is that first request.
Yes.
Right,
It's
right.
my
And
assumption.
it's right in the range
It's
of
in-
what they asked for,
Yes,
so
it is.
I
Right,
support the
right.
resolution.
And it's
Thank
equal to Carpenter's project
It
as
it
well,
does,
yeah.
could, Vanessa, could you make Mr. Burek a copy of that, please, so he'll have it for his records? Thank you. And Loretta, concerns or thoughts?
No, nothing more.
Okay.
Nothing more.
So this proposal then would allocate the $15,000 to the Mission Barn, formerly the Eastbrook Mission Barn. And these dollars are coming from the Affordable Housing Fund that is established in the County Register and Recorder's Office. This is proposed resolution 136. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Under the next item we're looking at are some administrative transfers. Joe, I'm assuming these have come to us all from the controller's office?
They have.
To your knowledge?
They have.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. The first is the Central Court is requesting a $700 transfer from their contingency to that of materials and supplies. Secondly, the Juvenile Probation Office is asking for a $1,400 transfer from their contingency into that of their vehicle expense line item. Evidently, they had an older vehicle that was having a water pump issue, and they needed to get that repaired. The third request comes from our planning office. This is the Community Development Block Grant line item. And was Rebecca here last week, or was it Amy that brought this to our attention, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago? But I do recall
We
somebody from
discussed it,
planning
yes.
was here that made us
And
aware of this.
It would be a guest.
Yeah, and I found Amy,
Alan.
Amy and
Oh, that's right, Alan was here, it
explanation.
was Alan Miller.
There's an explanation attached to the
Oh, yes, there is.
Yes, it
And
was
that's right, it was
explained.
Alan Miller, thank you, Debbie. The budget transfer is needed due to the 2 new
Right.
community development block grant activities that were created when the commissioners modified the community development block grant CV1 contract and the community development block grant FY 2020. What we did is we decreased the line item for Elwood City teams, and we added the Elwood City rehab in CV1. And Elwood City street improvements for fiscal year 2020 came in under budget So we added Elwood City Rehab. This is a memo that Amy McKinney sent, giving an explanation for the budget transfer request. And as was noted, Alan Miller was here last week to talk about this. So what we're doing is we're taking $6,296.05 from the CDBG Elwood City Borough Street Improvement line item, applying that to Elwood City Borough Housing Rehab. And then we're taking $16,000 from the Elwood City Borough Teams line item, putting that amount also in the Elwood City Borough Housing Rehab line item. The total transfer request is $22,296.05. I'll start with Commissioner Spielvogel and see if she has any questions.
I'm good.
Thank you. And Mr. Burek?
No questions.
Thank you both. Those are the four requests that we have actually on our agenda. The last one is split out, but they're all encompassed on the one document. So could I have a motion to approve the transfer requests as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further questions or concerns? Hearing none, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We still have a proposed resolution on the table. Any concern or any interest in moving that, or would you prefer to keep it there for the time being?
I'm content to keep it.
Okay, thank you. Well, we're almost done. A couple of announcements. The commissioners will be meeting next week, Tuesday, May 9, for our regular public meeting at 10 a.m. Today at noon, and this meeting is open to the public, the County Opioid Advisory Board, which is chaired by Commissioner Spielvogel, they will be meeting today, 12 o'clock in this room, open to the public. And the Lawrence County Planning Commission meeting will be held, they meet every month. They are meeting Wednesday, May 10 at 12 noon at Grill on the Hill Restaurant in Neshannock Township on State Route 18. Before we adjourn, I always open it up, of course, for public comments. If you have a concern or question, this would be the time to raise it.
I guess I'll offer an introduction because I haven't actually met Brian yet. I'm Angie Urban. I work with New Visions, but have just contracted with the city to fill the Citywide Development Corporation director role. And so excited to be here, really just to listen and to start coming to these meetings more regularly, to be in the loop on county issues that especially relate to the city. We'd love to probably get together with you all in the near future and talk about some of the exciting things that the Citywide Development Corporation in partnership with the City Council and City Administration are starting to work on, and would love to just explore ways that we could partner with the county to make some of those things happen in the city. So just a hello and thanks for allowing us to be here.
Angie, thank you. You're always welcome. You know that, as is Mr. Fry, former Mayor Chris Fry, who is now the city's, Chris, I always have to ask you, business administrator?
City administrator.
City administrator. I'll get it right one of these days. I was half right, but not the first part. But
Yes.
we appreciate your both being here. And you're always welcome to come to these meetings. They're not the most exciting meetings. You might doze off after a while, but we do appreciate it.
Neither are ours.
No, we're so glad that you took the time to come today. So, anything else from either of you? Debbie, anything right now? I have your packet for you. I'll see if my colleagues have closing comments. Commissioner Spielvogel?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Burek. Thank you, Commissioner Burek.
Just want to thank City Administrator Fry for being here and thank Angie for being here. I did meet you briefly a couple of years ago. I came downtown for a few of the cleanups and with a group
Okay.
of volunteers, you were spearheading that
Yeah.
downtown cleanup days. And I helped pick up leaves and that have blown into the doorways of many of the buildings downtown. So I look forward to continuing to work with you in my new role as commissioner. And as I tell these guys all the time, I am a city resident. So they made it in life, moved out to the township, but I still live in the city. So I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. May 13th is our next cleanup.
Check my calendar, yeah.
Well, Joe or Vanessa, anything we maybe overlooked or missed? Well, again, we very much appreciate you took the time to come to our meeting today, and you're always welcome. Anytime you'd like to be here, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
There being no other business to be brought before the board, I would then entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye,
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned. And Joe's gonna turn off the computer for us. You back here at noon.
Yeah, and then nothing else.